NATO just cracked, and a British engine started it. Rolls-Royce, the same company that puts engines in luxury cars and Eurofighter Typhoons, is now at the center of the most explosive military debate in the Western Alliance. Canada is building a mixed fighter fleet. The Pentagon is furious. And one engineering decision about an engine could permanently redefine how much control the United States has over its closest allies. This is not a drill. NATO's Plan B is being activated, and it's being built in Sweden, assembled in Canada, and powered by Britain. Most people don't understand this. Buying a fighter jet isn't like buying a car. When a country buys an American-powered aircraft, they don't just buy hardware. They buy a permanent relationship with Washington. Under ITAR, the International Traffic in Arms Regulations, the U.S. government legally controls the use, transfer, upgrade, and deployment of any aircraft powered by an American engine. Doesn't matter who owns it. If GE built the engine, Washington holds a permanent veto. For decades, allies accepted this. It was the price of American protection. Then 2025 happened. Tariffs. 51st state rhetoric. And suddenly that leash stopped feeling like security and started feeling like a collar. The proof isn't theoretical, it's Colombia. In late 2025, Colombia signed a €3.1 billion deal for 17 Saab Gripens. Done deal. Except the Gripen E runs on a General Electric F-414 engine, American-made, ITAR-controlled. Washington had every legal right to block that export license, and nearly used it. The deal survived, but only through intense diplomatic pressure. Canada watched every moment of it. Now here's where it gets historic. Rolls-Royce has adapted the EJ230, a direct derivative of the Eurofighter Typhoon's battle-proven EJ200, for the Gripen airframe. Over 600 EJ200s built, combat-tested, and manufactured under a purely European consortium. Rolls-Royce, MTU Germany, Avio Italy, ITP Spain. 0 American components in the power plant. For Canada, this changes everything. A Gripen with a Rolls-Royce EJ230 means Ottawa could fly, upgrade, and deploy its jets without ever filing a request with the Pentagon. No ITAR hold, no congressional mood swings, no kill switch, real or imagined. And here's a detail almost entirely missed in English-language media. Rolls-Royce has manufacturing operations in Montreal. Saab is quietly exploring whether a Canadian-built Rolls-Royce engine could be integrated into Gripens assembled on Canadian soil. Canada wouldn't just be buying a jet, it would be building one, engine and all, at home. Analysts call this the full sovereignty configuration. Washington calls it a nightmare. Now put the politics aside and look at pure Arctic math. Canada has the second largest landmass on Earth, 5 million square kilometers of Arctic airspace to patrol, Russian Tu-160 bombers, remote forward bases with barely paved runways. The Gripen E was built exactly for this. It operates from a 500-meter road strip, rearmed and refueled in under 10 minutes by 5 technicians. Mission-capable rate, approximately 80%. The F-35, just 36% in 2023, nearly 2/3 of the fleet unavailable on any given day. The cost gap is brutal. F-35 runs $35,000 to $50,000 per flight hour. Gripen, $8,000 to $12,000. Chasing Russian contacts over the Beaufort Sea doesn't require stealth. It requires a jet that actually shows up. Now here is the part that is genuinely shaking the alliance. Denmark, Norway, and Finland all chose the F-35. Sweden, now a NATO member, flies the Gripen. For the first time in history, the Nordic Air Defense Zone is operationally split between 2 aircraft architectures, 2 data link protocols, 2 sustainment ecosystems, and NATO is managing it anyway. Canada's mixed fleet plan would extend that reality to North America. And that is what terrifies Washington most. U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra has warned explicitly that anything fewer than all 88 F-35s would alter the NORAD framework. The Pentagon's argument is clear. F-35s are becoming the Western standard. Their sensor fusion networks, their shared tactical data links, their ability to silently pass targeting data between platforms, these are being built around F-35 architecture. Plug in 70 Gripens and you introduce a gap. But here's the counter-argument that keeps gaining strength inside Ottawa. The Globe and Mail, citing University of Ottawa professor Peter Jones, made it plainly. 30 to 40 F-35s dedicated to NORAD, plus 70 Gripens covering Arctic sovereignty and Canada's NATO commitments. Costs less per flight hour, provides more aircraft in the sky simultaneously, and keeps both Washington and Stockholm as allies. A bridge, not a break. That framing, Canada as NATO's connective tissue between the American F-35 world and Sweden's Gripen ecosystem, is now an official part of the political pitch in Ottawa. Let's be fair, the critics have real arguments too. Expert Richard Shimuka, writing in February 2026, called a mixed fleet a plan that will fail us in every way. His core point: roughly 1/3 of Gripen components still come from U.S. suppliers, avionics, systems, electronics. Swapping the engine doesn't make the jet ITAR free, it just changes one piece of the dependency chain, and the operational complexity is real. 2 aircraft types means double the training pipelines, double the simulator fleets, double the spare parts chains, and double the maintenance infrastructure for an Air Force that is already struggling to recruit and retain pilots. A 2024 Auditor General report found Canada's F-35 costs had already ballooned 46% to 27.7 billion Canadian dollars. Adding a second fleet type piles cost on to cost. The retired RCAF generals who wrote directly to Prime Minister Carney put it bluntly: fewer than 88 F-35s, and Canada cannot fully meet its NORAD and NATO commitments simultaneously. But here's the truth that transcends the technical debate. This was never really about engines. It was about the question every NATO ally is quietly asking in 2026. Can we trust the country that sells us our weapons? When the answer to that question starts shifting, when Britain's Rolls-Royce and Sweden's Saab start offering an alternative to the American monopoly on airpower, the alliance itself begins to look different. Not broken. Different. Canada's mixed fleet, if it happens, won't just change the RCAF. It will signal to every mid-tier NATO member that there is a choice, that Plan B exists, that sovereignty isn't just a political talking point, it's an engineering decision. And that realization, powered by a Rolls-Royce engine in a Swedish jet, assembled in Canada, might be the most consequential thing to happen to NATO since the Berlin Wall came down. Drop your take below. Does NATO need a Plan B, or is the F-35 lock-in the only way forward? Like, subscribe, and let's keep this debate going.